Hi, and welcome back to my channel, a space where we co-create conscious living. So because I'm so deeply rooted in my practices of living consciously and creating abundance consciously, I'm often asked the question, what really is conscious living all about? A lot of people have different ideas about it. Hi, I'm Vidisha Kaushal, the founder of Conscious Life Academy and meditation guide on thinkrite.me. On this journey, I'm going to be your coach and your catalyst in creating a conscious life. So what really is conscious living? I was recently interviewed for this by the founder of Swadharini. Her name is Anu, and you can check out her work. She does some lovely work. So I was being interviewed about the connection between sustainable living and conscious living. So I thought, why not go a little deeper into conscious living today, since so many of you are so curious. This concept of conscious living or this way of life can be understood at different levels depending on who you are. And each level is beautiful. There's nothing more superior or inferior about any level. It all starts somewhere. So at some point in time, we might become aware that our actions, our existence has an impact on others around us. It has an impact on our family. Their behavior has an impact on us. And therefore, there is a different level of interconnectivity between us. And therefore, that is where most of us start with our understanding of conscious living, that we become conscious and aware of the feelings of others. We become sensitive towards the needs of others. And that is what starts building a conscious being or awakening a conscious being out of us. Then there is another level of understanding conscious living, wherein you begin to realize that not only the people around you, not only the human beings, but there is an interconnectivity of everything in nature that is around you. You start realizing that you come from the same elements, the same 5 elements that build up everything else in the universe, and that there is a degree of oneness within you and the plants, the animals, the mountains, the rivers, everything is interconnected. And if we put in bad energy, bad actions, irresponsible things into water bodies, for example, then that is the kind of water we get to consume. If we ravage hills and we keep building concrete structures, then that is where we lose out on shade, we lose out on environmental wellness, we lose out on great soil. So everything that we put into nature, we start getting it back. And not very late, we start receiving it back within our lifetime. We get to witness the effects that our actions, our thoughts, our collective consciousness has on nature. And we start receiving the fruits of it or bearing the brunt of it. So that's another level of becoming conscious. So not only do you become conscious in that case, you start making some changes to your lifestyle, isn't it? Because consciousness does not just sit as consciousness. It soon starts propelling you to take inspired action also in that direction. And then comes another level of understanding conscious living. And this is a beautiful stage to be at, where you start realizing that everything comes from the same source energy. Everything, even things that seem to be things. So if this is a pen, it seems to be a non-living thing, and therefore I might feel I have nothing in common with it. And all I have to do is look at this table and realize that this table once upon a time was wood. It was a tree. This tree is releasing the oxygen that I breathe. So this tree is literally a part of my bloodstream. This plant is literally a part of my bloodstream. This wall hanging behind me is made up of cloth, and that cloth comes from crop. It comes from the cotton crop. And therefore, you realize as you dig deeper, whether it's metals, minerals, anything that has been created, especially if it is created from nature, then we start realizing that there is the same source energy playing through each one of these. It's just a rearrangement of energy. You rearrange energy, atoms, molecules in a particular way, and this table gets formed. You rearrange it in another way, and I get formed. And of course, the intelligence behind it is also a degree of oneness, isn't it? Because the same intelligence runs through the mountains, the rivers, the bloodstream of a human being, of an animal, of stars and galaxies. Imagine that. Imagine how phenomenal this is, that you are one with each one of these and even more. Things that you can't even comprehend. You're actually one with the universe. And when you come to this stage of realizing this oneness, is when awakening happens, wherein you start awakening the universe within you and realize that the universe outside and the one inside is the same. It's just a micro and macro version of it. And so when you start realizing this level of oneness, this is the ultimate conscious living. And this is what many of the realized masters, teachers, great minds who have existed in history and who are still present, this is the zone, the vibration, the dimension in which they live. They are one. And therefore, not only do they understand with compassion the suffering, the pain, the actions of others, but at the same time, they hold the responsibility to give out wonderful energy because they understand the oneness. That if I can understand the pain of another person, I can also share my joy. I can also share my beautiful vibrations. So instead of picking up their suffering, their pain, you can understand it, but you can instead transmit your energy to them. And that is what conscious living is all about. Like I said, consciousness does not just sit. Consciousness always plays. It is in a state of play constantly. So it will inspire you to take actions. So at whatever stage of consciousness you are, celebrate it. Take inspired actions which help you to walk this path. If the concept of conscious living is clear to you now, put that down in the comments. Tell me that you're absolutely clear. And if you're not, ask me questions so that I can answer it in my next video, because this is so important. Everybody seems to be having some kind of an awakening at whatever stage they are. And yet, we need something that translates this for us, that helps us to integrate this experience and make the most of it as well. So I'm here to help you do just that, because this is a journey I've traveled as well. So allow yourself to be inspired, allow yourself to be in realization and to take action. So today I'm going to share 5 very, very simple ways for you to experience this sense of oneness, ways that you can start experiencing today, right now. As you're watching the video, we can do that. As you finish watching the video, you can spend the rest of the day with this consciousness, because you're anyway doing all these things. You're just going to change the way you experience it. So the first one is how you can experience oneness with people. People around you, people in far-flung areas, people who are suffering, or people who are committing actions which are not of very high consciousness, people who are creating suffering, people who are experiencing pain, all kinds of people. And here, there is no judgment. You're not going to sit and say, I'm going to do this for the person who's undergoing the crime, but not the criminal. Because then we are missing the point of oneness. We are leaving that one person out of it. We are sitting in a small mind of judgment. The sun doesn't think that way. It doesn't say, hey, you're a criminal, so I'm not going to give you sunlight. It does not do that. So as we step into oneness, we hold the capability to share vibrations of love, joy, and peace, no matter who it is. So with people, here's a very, very simple practice to start. Start blessing people. You can bless them aloud. You can bless them in conversation. You can bless them in your mind. So you see somebody in the family with whom you have a conflict, where things are not very great. Maybe there's been some issue. Keep blessing them in your mind. Keep blessing them. Keep sending them the vibrations of blessings, because they might have their own free will and they might be responding in whatever way they want to. Unfortunately, that is the energy they will be living in. So if they are constantly arguing, if they are angry, if they're upset, if they're triggered very, very easily, then imagine that is the suffering of that person, because that is the energy in which they are living. Not easy at all. So instead of picking up that person's energy, how about blessing them? And so what are you doing? You are experiencing the energy of blessings. So that's a beautiful way to experience oneness. You feel bad for people in a war hit area, bless them, send them vibrations of blessings. You feel bad for people who are caught by the situation of the virus today in the world, send blessings. You want to work with the virus, send blessings to the virus, send lots and lots of blessings, because at some point in time, this virus is a permutation combination of energy put in a certain way. So send blessings to it, because there is a part of you that shares the same source energy. Even if there is a man-made element in this, you share the same source energy. It all comes from energy. The second really easy way is with water. Talk sacred conversations with your water, blessings and loving words with your water. Just search for experiments that have been done with water. You know, if you constantly take a glass of water and you say to it, I hate you, and you take another glass of water and you say to the water, I love you, when this water is examined microscopically, the structure of the water has changed. The structure of the water, which has received the hate energy, starts looking deformed. It literally looks ugly, as scientists and doctors have reported. It looks deformed, it changes its color, it looks really horrible. You can look for these experiments, they're all there on YouTube. And in contrast, the glass of water which received a lot of love energy seems to take on beautiful crystalline snowflake-like structures. Depending on the vibrations you give, there is so much beauty that comes out. When they examined these two water samples, they were shocked and stunned, because there was so much physical difference, molecular difference, and energetic difference between the two of them. So this is how potent water memory is. It retains the energy. So whenever there is a presence of water, for example, you have a jug of water in a room and there's an argument, that water has absorbed the energy of that argument. Similarly, if you're playing some chants, the water in your house is actually getting charged with that energy. So while you can't be paranoid about it, throwing water every time there's an argument, what you can do is, when you pick up a glass of water to drink, talk to your water. Say to your water, you're beautiful, I love you. I love the fact that you're going to quench my thirst and you're becoming one with me. And I know I'm one with you. Whatever you want to, you can just say simply, simple words like, I love you. Whatever energy you want to give to yourself, whatever love, nourishment, safety, security you want to consume, give it to the water and it will give it to you. It then becomes a part of your cellular structure. That is how powerful it is. So this is step number 2. It's very easy. The third way for you to experience it is with the earth. And this is a simple rule that I have followed since many years. I was taught this by one of my masters, and I have retained it, literally tied it in my mind. It has never left me. Whenever it is regarding the matters of the earth, remember the principle: you receive from the earth, you create, and you give back to the earth. So anything where you're not creating from the earth is going to harm the earth, and it is going to harm you. So this is not a very conscious cycle of living, is it? It's a very unconscious cycle. Somebody did it and now everyone is following it. An example is when we create a lot of or buy or consume a lot of plastics, we are creating something which cannot be released back into the earth. Therefore, we are at the receiving end of it. We are at the receiving end of consuming food which has plastic, water which contains plastic elements, so much of plastic which is inside of us. And if you don't want to do that, stop releasing things into the earth in any form, whether it's in your garbage or in the water that you use for washing. Just be careful, responsible. Take from the earth and give back into the earth. So you want to use something, try and move to fabrics which can be released into the earth. You want to buy something, try and buy material which can be released back into the earth. And that is how simple it is. You want to carry some stuff, carry it in a bag which can be released into the earth and which can be safely released into the earth. So This is how you experience oneness with the earth, and you take inspired action to make this oneness beautiful, to honor this oneness. This is so much more important than all the worship and all the rituals that we do, because we can't be doing talking one thing and doing something else. So this is where you practice everything that you chant, and I think this is so important for the planet also today. The next step is about plants. How do you harness the oneness that you have? How do you build conscious living through the plants? It's very, very simple. Now understand what plants do. They're already giving you that sense of oneness if you're even slightly alert and aware. What's happening with the plant? The plant is giving you oxygen, right? And that's what you're breathing in. And then what is happening is that it is cleansing your entire system through that oxygen. You are literally breathing the air that has been released by plants. What more, beautiful use of oneness can we have? But here's what we can do. Every time we breathe in, yeah, let's breathe in beautiful energy from the plants. Visualize yourself receiving it from the most powerful trees and shrubs and plants and all kinds of lovely greens and flowers and whatever you want. And as you breathe out, send beautiful vibrations with your breath out. Now imagine if you're releasing that into nature, then nature is going to double it up manifold and give it back to you. So as you release into nature, bless it, send it beautiful vibrations every breath out. And obviously you can't do it for every breath out, but even if you can do this process a couple of times in the day, one, your breathing will become conscious breathing. So just deep breaths. Do that with me right now. And breathing out beautiful energy. Breathing in from those mighty oak trees and breathing out. Breathing in from the wonderful pine trees in the mountains and breathing it out. And this is how you experience oneness with the plants, and you harness the oneness with the plants. Also spend some time with the plants, because if you are just receiving oxygen, that's not the only thing you can receive from plants. Try hugging a tree when you're upset, and you'll find that the tree has the capacity to earth everything that you're experiencing. And so you can harness that very, very beautifully. Spend some time with plants when your vibrations are low, and they will lift you up beautifully. So receive from plants and give back to plants. Give them your hands. Do work with plants with your hands. Spend some time with them. Talk to them. Yeah, play music to them. I do sound healing, and I notice my plants just flourish with sound healing. As you can see, I have loads of plants outside as well, and they flourish with sound healing. So I sometimes play my bowls for them. You can play some music, you can talk to them. So give to them and receive. Breath is not the only thing, but it is one of the most important things that you are interconnected with plants for. But energy, vibrations are what you share with plants. Try it out and you'll be surprised at how it works. Lastly, with yourself. With yourself. Experiencing oneness with yourself requires that you understand that there is oneness between your mind, your emotions, and your body, and of course, your spirit. So if you understand that there is a degree of oneness between your mind, emotions, body, and spirit, you start honoring each one of them instead of dismissing them. Instead of saying, oh, these emotions are useless, they just make me weak, they just make people weak. Instead of belittling your emotions, can you honor them? Every time there is anger, this anger is here as an energy from within you. Stop rejecting it. Stop telling yourself, I must not be angry. Instead, understand that this anger is now connected to my body. I can already feel it in my body. Feel that interconnectivity, and then it's so easy to release it. For example, if I experience anger and I check where in the body am I feeling that anger, I might realize it's in the head, or it's in the chest, or it's in my hands, or wherever it is. And then what can I do? Very simple. I can just deeply breathe it out of that body part. So I'm safely receiving it, fully welcoming it, letting it work through me, but not living it, letting it pass through me and safely releasing it through my breath. And when I release it, am I causing any damage to the environment, to other people? No, I'm not. Because nature has the capacity to transform anything into pure energy. So it's very, very simple. Understand the interconnectivity between your mind, your body, your emotions, and your spirit. And if you understand it, you will honor each part of these. You will not dismiss them. If the mind is cluttered, you don't start criticizing your mind. You don't start criticizing your thoughts. Instead, lead them out safely from your mind. Take them out safely from your mind, right? It's something as simple as writing them down on a piece of paper and then releasing it to fire can be a very beautiful and sacred experience. Try it out. Try these 5 simple ways to experience oneness, to actually live in the vibrations of consciousness. This is easy. Anybody can do it. You don't need any spiritual experience for this. So thank you for all your time. You've been very, very patient. If you're here for the first time, there is a lot of beautiful content that you can catch up on. There is a 21-day series called Thrive With Me, where you can go through 21 days of transforming your life. I'll try and link it up here. And I send you loads of love. Keep working with yourself to live consciously, because conscious living is a beautiful way of life. And there is no turning back. It's a lovely way to be. Okay, with that, I say goodbye to you. Just remember that you are the abundance that you seek. Bye.